Hey guys, Terra from Cosplay here, coming at you with another interview. So we've got Simon Dunn from Maryborough State High, principal of Maryborough State High. He's also the guy that has set up and helps to run FraserPOP. So FraserPOP is up on the Sunshine Coast of Queensland, Australia, for all those international people. And it's a fantastic little event. I went to it last year and it was just brilliant. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut across to Simon and we're going to say hello. Simon, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Terry? Thanks for inviting me.
Not a problem. I'm glad to have you here. So talk to me a little bit about FraserPOP. What is it?
FraserPOP it's actually probably the biggest assessment piece for a Year 12 kid that they would ever dream to do. We actually run at the school a diploma of business as our Year 12 course. They do that one day a week. And because it's a diploma of business, which is done in events management, they actually have to run an event. So rather than run, a bake sale or something really boring or awful, they decided to do a pop culture festival, which runs for 2 days normally in the other universe that's not the alternate universe of COVID and Trump that we live in now. It usually would run in July every year.
So and it goes, what, 2 days?
Yep, 2 days, probably third week in July. So it's usually about the 18th, 21st of July every year.
Right, and now I went last year and it was absolutely incredible. It wasn't just a pop culture convention. There was so many extra things. I mean, there was jousting, there was there was cosplay, of course. There was a store of requirement. There was food trucks. There was wrestling. Was there wrestling last year? Yes, there was.
Yes, there was. That was a weird one. Actually, it was last minute. They rang up and said, "Hey, do you want us to do some wrestling?" I just had this vision of like a couple of guys in the car park having a crack, and it was like, "Oh yeah, sure, no worries." They brought full WWE style ring, the whole thing. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. Now, you had, how many DeLoreans did you have there?
Two, because you always need a spare.
You always need a spare.
Which was it was a bit of it blew our minds. But we actually had a DeLorean 2 years ago come to FraserPOP, and it was if you've ever been to Maryborough, you'll know that the main street in town is dead straight, and towards the end of it there is the town hall, which is a large clock tower looking building at the end of it. So it was hey, let's get a DeLorean, that would be kind of cool. And when you're the principal of a school and your deputy's name is Marty, that's kind of cool as well. So he's very unlike Michael J. Fox. But anyway, so we managed to track down this guy who's in Toowoomba who's got a DeLorean who was great, and he brought it up free of charge. He just wanted to sort of show off this beautiful machine. So we had one there, and then bizarrely a month later, there's a guy in town who owns one of the cafes in town. Went, "I like cars. I've bought a DeLorean." So we then had we searched Queensland for this DeLorean, and then the next week was like, "Oh yeah, no, Vince down the road's got his DeLorean. We'll just drive it in."
Yeah, two blocks over, not a problem. Here it is.
Parked side by side. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, it was incredible. And then we had the Shield guys there with the Hummer, and oh god, we had what else do we have there? We had the Ghostbusters car.
Ghostbusters car and the Terminator car. They sort of do a fair bit down with Supernova and a couple other places as well. So they came up. We had the Batmobile. There's a gentleman in Toowoomba up until recently had a Batmobile. He sold it, unfortunately. So we might have got the last showing of that at a con for a while. And we had the same guy. Bizarrely, I'd love to live in this guy's street. Next door to this guy, literally in the next house down, has got one of the pickup trucks out of Jurassic Park. So
that's right. We have the Jurassic Park there as well.
Yeah, so they were there right next door to each other. We had a couple other things. There's a local group in Maryborough and Harvey Bay called Rent-A-Rex, who they have they're the dinosaurs that go around. So we had the Jurassic Park guys with a couple of raptors running around chasing people and terrorizing children, which is always fun. We had the Sons of Obi-Wan, the lightsaber guys from New South Wales, came up to be able to do a couple of sessions. We had the University of Sunshine Coast, University of Sunshine Coast Quidditch team came up, and they did some stuff on the Oval as well. So a couple of Quidditch tournaments.
Okay.
It was all singing, all dancing. It was a fun 2 days.
No, there's definitely so much there to do. I mean, I went up with my suits, etc., and I was like, oh yeah, I'll spend a couple of hours in the suit and then go and hide in a room somewhere. But no, it was just full on. It was continuous. I mean, there was so much to do, and so you were talking about the fact that it's not going to happen, like it's rescheduled at the moment for July.
Yeah, so because like every other major event in the world at the moment, it's all been put on hold because of just a small flu and just a small cold that seems to be going around the planet.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right, just get some bleach, you'll be fine. But as part of that, we're actually working on what we're calling at the moment with the kids Operation Phoenix, which is trying to get FraserPOP back online for this year, because obviously things haven't turned out. We're not all living in the movie Contagion or I Am Legend or anything like that. So we seem to all be okay at the moment. But we're looking at actually doing a diet light version of FraserPOP probably in September. So we're going to move it down the line a little bit. We've been looking at a few ideas about that. So it won't have the jousting and the lightsabers and the bits and pieces, but it'll be probably more like an open air market sort of stall thing, mm-hmm. with a couple of extra bits and pieces thrown in, but only for one day.
Right. Excellent. All right. That's better. Now I can actually look at you. I was wondering why every time I was looking at you on the screen, I was looking over there.
It's like, am I here? Am I here? Am I here?
So yeah. All right. That's much better. I can actually look at you now. So all right. So now, what do you mean by a diet light version? So expand on that a little. Because obviously there's a lot of con goers out there. There's a lot of cosplayers. There's a lot of vendors, etc., that are dying to get out and do something because everything's just been kiboshed. Yeah. It's been sideswiped. I mean, it's been destroyed, and Supernova has been trying desperately to land their dates, and I have heard rumors that their Sydney one has again been cancelled. Yeah. So that was supposed to be happening in the beginning of August.
Yeah.
So again, I haven't actually seen anything in writing, but I haven't really looked either.
So we're looking at the moment of I'd have to look at the exact date, but it's about September 10, 11, 12, 13-ish. It's the Saturday of one of those dates, whichever one it is. But all of the stuff we'd normally talk about with FraserPOP, the jousting and all those things, just because of state boundaries and those sorts of things, that's going to be problematic. Normally at the school here, think a basketball size, sort of stadium size, that's usually got a vendor's hall just by itself. So it was about probably 40 to 50 stall holders all in there doing stuff. One of the advantages of a convention which is open air is that you have a lot of different restrictions put on you. So being in a con like Supernova, which is in a building somewhere, you've got that click in, click out, that sort of thing, and quite restrictive about corridors and all those sorts of things. What we're looking at is an open air event, probably just over an acre and a half worth of size of a space, so quite open, quite spaced out. Probably with about 40 to 50 to 60 vendors, which is what we normally get. We're about to start putting the feelers out to our vendors from 2019, 18, 17. We're anticipating, as you'd said, that if they've been cooped up or without any income for a while, they'll be like, yeah, I'm car's running, I'm ready to go.
Car's running and the lorry's packed.
Yeah, and we're ready. And there'll be a few things that we'll probably look at. We haven't approached them yet, but we'll probably talk to places like the Store of Requirement, the Harry Potter shop that's down in Brisbane and in Melbourne, and say, do you guys want to come up again? We've got a room downstairs. To a bit of background of Maryborough State High, it's 139 years old. It has heritage listed buildings. It looks a bit like Hogwarts. So we sort of lean into the Harry Potter thing a bit with a few things. So Store of Requirement, I'd say, or hopefully, all things going well, we'll be back. We'll do some food trucks and stalls, and hopefully we'll talk to some cosplayers to sort of add a bit of that atmosphere to it as well. we do have some ideas we've been talking to Fraser Coast Council about, because obviously being a school, we have an oval, a great big one, in fact. We're looking at the idea of the things like pop culture. We're looking at the idea of going old school, literally, and we're going to do a drive-in movie night. So in the car, on the oval, we'll hire a great big screen and put on, something appropriately classic. We've got a DeLorean. We just put Back to the Future up and put that up instead. So,
something like what's one of those viral movies? Just kidding.
Oh, starring Contagion, the live show.
The live show. But no, look, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be amazing. It's going to be an awesome thing. And, you're not even going to have to actually get out of your car if you don't want to, because I hear that you're going to be piping the audio straight to people's radios.
Yeah, so we'll do the shortwave thing. So, tune into X frequency and you'll be able to sit in your car, socially distant in your bubble if you need to. And, you'll be able to watch a drive-in movie. Like, as I said, that's a pop culture icon in itself, the idea of the old drive-ins. There's not many of them around these days.
All you need now is the girls on the skates delivering the food to the cars, and you're all set.
On the oval, it'll be fun. Actually, the kids, our diploma of business kids, meet on Thursday to go through, and it was one of the great things that we started this idea today and started workshopping it, and it got bigger and bigger. And one of the things they actually looked at was the idea of that you can pre-purchase packaged meals, and they would be brought to your car. We'd have the license plate number. It's a whatever car, and he'd say, here's your $20 meal deal. We've actually there's a great cafe in town called the Happy Days Diner. So it's 1950s decor. There's a Ford Thunderbird in there that's got the seating. I think the best aspects of trying to sit in a Happy Days thing without all the cheesy Henry Winkler going in there. But as part of that, we may even look at approaching them and saying, do you guys want to do some meal deals? And then they'd be able to package them and literally do what you said without the skates, bring them to your car and do the whole, that sort of stuff as well. So, yeah,
you could also do a hop-skip payment system.
Yeah.
Where basically, you get some of the students, say, 4 or 5 of the students as waiters and waitresses, and they've got a tap and go.
Oh, yeah.
And they simply take the order. So you print out whatever menus from whatever food trucks. They take the order, and then person pays for the car. They go back. Well, they go and actually pay the vendor.
Yep.
And so therefore it's called a hop skip.
Okay, cool.
So it's a little double handling of the thing, but it keeps the social distancing thing going and gets everyone fed.
I'm writing that down. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Hop skip vendors. Awesome. Yeah. So so that's one of the things and it's one of the cool things about sort of working in a school as well, that the deputy principal not the Marty one, the other, I have 3, but one of the other ones. So Damien's.
You need 3 entourage. Okay.
Yeah, it's my people. So basically, Damien had said to Cecilia Kovacic, who's the lady who looks after FraserPOP, so hey, here's a cool idea. We should do a drive-in movie theatre. And then that went from about 10:30 this morning to about 11:30, going and doing the pitch meeting with the kids too. The kids just went, that'd be awesome. To the point where they rang Fraser Coast Council themselves and got all that organised. And then by the afternoon, we sort of started talking to people in Brisbane about, hey, can we hire a screen and that sort of thing. So the cool part about sort of being in a school is that like that started at 10:30 this morning, and by 6 o'clock or 5:30 tonight, I'm now talking to someone about, hey, we've got this cool idea and we're going to start doing it. So it's it's kind of cool.
Oh, that's how you got to do it. Yeah, I mean, it's just bam, bam, bam. Thank you very much. Let's go. Next.
Literally a hop skip. It's all good.
So now you mentioned about FraserPOP and the kids being a part of it, etc. So can you expand on that a little bit better? I mean, because that's one hell of a program you're running.
Yeah. So what we do is it actually started with my uncle. My uncle Keith, he approached the school. He is part of the League of Extraordinary Gamers, and he wanted to. It's a club in Brisbane that he's part of with a whole lot of other people. But he said to me that he wanted to go to regional Queensland and put on a board game thing. Can I borrow your library and hire it from him? All that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And it sort of became this thing that became bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'd said to my uncle, I said, look, we could really do something here. And it became this idea that got big. We said, well, if only we could, get some kids involved and do something with that, which then became, why don't we actually like not just half do it and build a rinky-dink program and do stuff? We can actually wrap a whole piece of curriculum around it and make it into, diploma of business events management. We talked to a registered training provider and they said, yeah, we can do it. We've got all the competencies, and we ticked them off, and we've wrapped the event around it. So that was in 2016, the end of 2016, that meeting happened. God, 2016. So 2017 we started, we got the vendors, and in the first year it was like all these people going, this is not going to work. So we sort of built the relationship with the vendors, and we got them in. We're like, hey, we've got 30 vendors coming. Yeah, isn't it awesome? That sort of stuff. And we put it on for the first year. We thought, because it's an assessment piece, we thought, look, if we get one person come through the door, the assessment piece can still work, because
it's a win. Yeah,
events management, stock control, all sorts of stuff. So first year we got 7,000 people walk through the door, and we know, and we know that because we actually had kids with clickers going, the clickers are wrong, going no, and it was just kept coming. They kept coming. We had with our manual arts guys, I sort of haven't mentioned the way that other departments sort of came in. So our hospitality guys ran what they call the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. So think. Alice in Wonderlands, Under the Trees, Mad Hatter, props, the whole thing, including people full cosplay, the Red Queen, the whole thing. So all that sort of stuff. But it's essentially, if you strip all the fluff off it, it's a high tea function, $10 a person, and that's one of the competencies that you have for doing a Cert 2 in hospitality. It's just we've wrapped all this other stuff around it, so it looks kind of cool. Our Cert 2 in furnishing guys. So, you've got to do dovetail joints. You've got to build, we've all sort of been in workshops. We have to build, I've built something for mum. Isn't it great? And then she goes, that's nice, honey, and gets rid of it. But so what they did is they worked out all of the joints and the bits and the construction and stuff, and they built the TARDIS. So actual full size, full scale, to the BBC plans, approved by the BBC. It weighs about 400 kilos. It's down in the library downstairs, the school library. So you walk into our school library and the TARDIS is sitting there in all its glory.
I've seen it sitting out front of the school.
Yeah, but it's you're literally walking to our library and there it is. So as part of that, the kids built that, and that was done, and that was wrapped around a Cert 2 in furnishing. So they built that year. The next year they built a Dalek to scale, and they've done a few other bits and pieces as well. They built the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones. That was cool. That was our engineering guys, of course. But as part of that process, it's funny, I walked into one of the metal labs downstairs, and there was this kid, and they're getting all the pieces, because basically, as you know, Westeros style, the Iron Throne's made of swords.
Yep.
So these kids are sitting there in their manual arts room, and they're just sitting with a whole heap of made swords that they've got, and they're just sitting there just sharpening them like this to make sure they're to a point. And these kids have looked at me and said, "Sir, in most schools, if we were sharpening weapons, we'd be expelled. Here, it's part of the assessment. Like, that's hardcore." So we've wrapped a lot of the assessment from other bits of the school around this one event. So 7,000 kids and a whole heap of oh my gods from everybody later going, we can't believe you pulled this off. The next year we put out an exit survey to all of the vendors, and every vendor we had signed up immediately and said, yeah, we're in. So that was like done. But we then threw the event into the Fraser Coast Business and Tourism Awards as a event and events management, and it won. So first hit, first event, 16-year-olds making this thing up.
Yep.
And they won event, and this is after all different events. So that you may or may not know, the Mary Poppins Festival. Yes, it's a thing.
I didn't know it was a thing, but yep.
Yeah, I know. Who knew? Useless trivia. Person P.L. Travers wrote Mary Poppins, born in Maryborough. So there you go. And no, it's not why it's called Maryborough. That's because of the river that goes in the middle of it. So anyway, so we fast forward 2018. We did it again. It got to 10,500 people. And then we put it in. Let's have a see if we can do the double. We put it in for the event of the year again. Won again. Then went to 2019, and we thought, let's start swinging for the fences. We got a new performing arts complex at school. So we thought, hey, let's invite the Queensland Pops Orchestra and get them to do a night of music. let's see if that works. So Fraser Coast Council got involved at that point, and they said, how much is it going to cost to get, how do you buy the Queensland Pops Orchestra? The answer is $28,000 for a night.
Yep.
So you can rent them. So Fraser Coast Council went, yeah, we're in. They put $20,000 into the event and put it on the thing. And so we had the most amazing night of music, like movie themes, the whole thing. It was fantastic. And it was, the Queensland Pops Orchestra, this pop culture event. We had the guys from down in Brisbane at the Abbey Festival, the Jousters.
Yep.
So if you go to the Abbey Festival, it's a special ticket. You have to go in, you buy it, the whole thing. We got on the phone and said, hey, we got this thing up the road. And he said, we know this such and such from Riverbend, which is the guys who work around here and do all of the Abbey stuff. And they said, yeah, we can, the reenactment stuff. And they said, yeah, we'll do that. That's cool. And said, we'll come up and visit them for a couple of weeks. Would you be able to put the horses out at Riverbend and then you can bring them along? They went, yeah, sure. So last year we had on the oval, we had full at each other on the oval, 100 metres, full armour, the whole thing, jousting at a pop festival. So that was kind of cool.
And that's unique. I mean, I'm sorry, but I haven't seen a pop culture festival that you've got jousting.
Yeah, and it was everyone was like, it was funny because on the second day when we did it, because we ended it on one day, because we had to have the oval for the Quidditch guys on the first day, and so we made sure that the jousting was on the second day, because you don't want to say, I found the golden snitch. That's not the golden snitch, because it's that's not ideal.
It's not exactly gold. That's green.
That's the green, and it's not the snitch. It just sounds like it. But yeah, so basically as part of that, we had them on the oval, and we did sort of 3 sessions across the day. And in the first session, that was we had sort of, the way our oval sort of said, it's scalloped up the side, so it's got a natural sort of stadium thing to the side of it. So we had about 400 or 500 people sort of sitting on the side there and like, and hit him and smash it again and stuff like that. But then what happened was we were doing the counting, and all of a sudden about midday, the counting started to get higher and higher and higher. And so what happened is that people going, yes, I'm on the oval at Maryborough High. Yes, I'm looking at horses smashing at each other. You need to come down here.
You need to be here.
Yeah. So by the time you got to the second session, which was at about, the first one was about 10:30, the second one was about 12:30, triple the number down the side there. So it's sort of people just wandering in just to see that alone. There's a couple of philosophical things with FraserPOP that we've done. One, absolutely positively has to be family friendly, and always will be. So, they've looked at the idea of doing some cosplay or getting some stuff involved. I think, we don't want to go down that route. The other one is that it has a requirement that 90% of it has to be free. So it's not like a supernova, pay at the door, that sort of thing. The only things that usually in this case that you have to pay for are things like, you've got your laser skirmish or that sort of thing that you actually have to pay to go and do. Even like the Sons of Obi-Wan, the lightsaber guys, you just book in and it's a free session. You go off and do that. We've paid for that, not anyone else. So that's the other requirement, that it has to be free, and that's part of giving back to the school giving back to the greater community. Couple of knock-on effects we found in the 2019 version. We started to work out how many industries and businesses were affected around FraserPOP. So we looked at occupancy rates in hotels in town. We looked at the menus for restaurants in town, and they worked out that FraserPOP was actually giving back somewhere close to $500,000 back to the Maryborough community as part of just that one event. Yeah, in one weekend. So, council loves us. So,
I don't blame them.
Yeah. So when they found out that, like, what, it's not on this year. Oh, thanks, COVID. It's like, shit. So, the markets will be a little bit of a small piece back into that as well. We'll be able to sort of, at least the kids will actually have something they can wrap that assessment piece around for this year.
Well, so if you don't mind a giant Space Marine or Terminator wandering around your market, I'm happy to come along.
Nice. Done. Consider it done again, Terry. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, look, last year was incredible. It was so much fun, and it would have been good to sort of participate in some of the evening events and things, but obviously we were staying about half an hour away, so And by the end of the day, I was stuffed.
Lumping that thing, right? Well, on the upside with the markets, you're only on one side of the road, which is, I believe, when I talked to yourself and a couple other people about feedback, I think you had said to me it would be great if we get FraserPOP and move it into a smaller group of areas. So
yeah, it was a little bit spread out.
So thanks, COVID.
Thanks,
that was
COVID.
Good.
But look, I mean, it is a fantastic event. I mean, it's brilliant, and the fact that it brings so much to the local community is incredible. Now, are you getting anything new in for this year?
Well, because we've done the scaled down Diet Light version for this year, probably not from that point of view, but the drive-in movie will be new. So we haven't done that previously. We've sort of, as I said, we've never been able to have the oval available because of, the aforementioned Quidditch and horse poo. Mm-hmm. So so we are looking at that drive-in as part of it. So we're looking at the moment of probably doing it on the Friday night before the Saturday, or on the Saturday night after FraserPOP, and that sort of closes down the show. You do the drive-in at night, and that's it. So we'll look at one or the other. We're not quite sure.
Do it on the Saturday night. That way you can sort of, bring a blanket if you don't want to bring a car. And,
yeah, that is true.
And, just have an FM radio on your phone or whatever and just tune in.
Very true.
So you can sort of have a nice picnic, weather permitting.
Yeah. The funny thing is we've touched wood. We've never had with FraserPOP, because of it's in the middle of winter normally, it never rains. So that's been great. The weekend that we're picking is actually we have up here what's called the Fraser Coast Tech Challenge, which is it's a 24-hour bike event. So it's the the lie down bikes that you pedal with your feet.
Yep.
It's a lot of that. Yeah, imagine one of those, but it's a 24-hour event. It's a street race. So it's like Bathurst but cycling. It's just it's sick. It's twisted. I love it. But we have 140 teams, 4 different states, and basically the school gets turned into Bathurst for 3 days. So as part of that process, that's the weekend when the markets are going to be. So it's
so it's going to be a sort of a tie-in event.
Yeah, it just in this case though, unfortunately, the tech challenge has been cancelled, and it won't.
Oh, okay.
There's no resus for that for this year. So yeah.
Right. So it's taking over that weekend.
Yeah, we're stealing the date. Yeah.
Right. So what was the date again?
It is, and if you forgive me for a second, I will get the exact dates because I can never remember it correctly. It is August, September. It will be that's August. Wake up, Simon. Saturday, the 12th of September.
Saturday, the 12th of September.
Yes.
So it's just a 1-day or a 2-day event this time?
Just a 1-day this year. So
right.
Saturday, September 12th. It's normally 2-day, but it'll be, we'll just do the 1 day and go from there. But it'll be 1 day that we'll probably do that as the Terry recommendation for the day. We will then do the movies that night. So if anyone was able to go on the Friday but can't go on the Saturday, blame Terry. So yeah.
I think it'll work out fine. I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
But so all right, now let's talk a little bit about collectibles.
Yes.
So a little birdie and the fact that I've seen half your bloody collectibles. You've got quite a collection in your office there at school that every student that gets in trouble, like the old days when we used to get sent to the principal's office, it was a bad thing.
Yeah.
These days, this is probably going, oh, look at that, that's new. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that does sound familiar. So look, I'm going to go this way for a second.
Yep.
And I'm going to flip the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually of all things. Now, if I'm right, my brother is watching at the moment. So Andrew, hi, how are you? And no, I'm not bragging.
He is bragging, and he has every right to.
Hell yeah. As the principal of a high school, this is my office. It looks like the friggin' White House. It's ridiculous. When I actually got to and the reason for this is simple. It's because Maryborough High used to be a grammar school. Mm-hmm. So it's got every sort of grammar school bit and piece that you can expect in it. So, but collectibles wise, as everyone should have a Lego DeLorean. So
So there's your
couple of
Lego
bits.
DeLorean, yeah.
Yeah. So the couple of bits and pieces. I've started on bits and pieces of Hogwarts that I've started to build at the moment, but I might actually need another cabinet for that because it might get too big. The Harry Potter bits and pieces across here that, and again, this was actually bought for me by the aforementioned Marty, the deputy principal. Managed to buy me the London to Hogwarts ticket. He went over to the UK, maybe one of the last people to go to the UK for a while, but got me that when he was over there. But yeah, so all the Hogwarts bits and pieces. Yes, there's a few. It's a bit eclectic. There's a few bits and pieces, a couple of sort of signature Indiana Jones sort of bits and pieces and Big Bang Theory stuff. And yeah, as I said, with the stuff with Back to the Future, so you've got all of the Back to the Future bits and pieces up there. But yeah, Jack Sparrow stuff, so the Pirates of the Caribbean. Not exactly pop culture, but certainly kind of cool. Person that you'd want to call the President of the United States. He's not orange enough these days, but anyway.
I reckon they can call Mickey Mouse the President of the United States at the moment without a problem.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse doesn't have a Twitter account. So a few bits and pieces in there. So your Sherlock stuff and your Doctor Who stuff. That one's actually not really pop culture, but it's actually one of the lapel pins. The school, Maryborough High, is actually Duncan Chapman, who's the bloke who was the first person ashore at Gallipoli, 1915, actually went to this school. So that's actually one of the lapel pins from the battalion that he was in. So it's the White Bay Battalion. So kind of cool. Couple of Bonds up the back there and some Starks at the front and a bit of snow up the back. But yeah, so few bits and pieces. The reason, cut a long story short, is that all of this is here is because my wife says, in her exact words, "Get this crap out of my house." So yeah. So I had to have an office this big just to put all of the stuff in, pretty much. So yeah, yeah. But that's yeah, a few bits and pieces. Of all the things, yeah, these are the coolest, I thought. So over in Singapore, there is a shop, and it is a Tintin shop. It sells nothing but Tintin. So like random in the middle of Singapore in one of the markets. It is very cool. But they actually sold over there. All of these are postcards that you can buy. So they are all of the covers of all of the Tintins. And me being the ASD nerd that I am, they are all in order. So this is the chronological order that they were all put out, and et cetera, over there. So yeah, they had to be put up and they had to be in order when they went up. So it's a sickness. Don't judge me. So where are we? Back to that. Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Cool. Hey, welcome back. So yes, so tour of the battlefield. But yeah, so there's it's a bit of an eclectic mix of stuff, but yeah.
So when's your prop collection starting?
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
I think your office is big enough. You could probably, actually, you got pretty high ceilings. You could probably put the Terminator in there.
Ooh, there's a behaviour.
He's only about 10'4".
Oh, yeah, 10 foot. So you'd scrape. You'd be close. But what's that? That's new behaviour management tool. It's all.
Yeah, that's just the Guardian. That's just gonna. He's the one that's got the cane.
Yeah, doesn't have a cane. Got an atomizer, not a cane. It's all good, so. Yeah. So it's yeah.
Now, let's talk cosplay for a bit. Now, I know you've always been interested in cosplay. To a point. Are you thinking about bringing cosplay as a course at school?
Well, funny you should say that, because we've actually got across the road, because it's over yonder, over there, the wildlings north of the wall. We actually have, as part of our courses, we do a Cert 2 in hair and a Cert 3 in makeup. So one of the units that we do as part of that is actually movie makeup. So they do the bone sticking out and the blood coming down, like the proper full movie stuff and the whole thing. And I always love that time of year because the girls over the road actually warn me they're doing it, but they don't warn anybody else. So you can imagine the kid comes in, oh my god, and they've got like blood and dripping,
Bones
and
hanging out everywhere.
every year, my guys down in first, they go, oh Jesus, it's that time of year again. Yeah, so it's great. But as part of that, we do the hair and makeup stuff, but then we also look at doing, and we're bringing in a subject next year called fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So as part of that is your fashion and design and stuff like that. So we've decided to actually have an element of that, which is your fantasy design and your cosplay and stuff like that. So when you start adding together the idea of the movie makeup and design with the cosplay fashion stuff, while we don't actually have a subject of cosplay, we certainly do have aspects of that if you were leaning in that direction and wanted to have a look, you can do some stuff around that.
Well, I mean, I've actually got a Singer cosplay sewing machine.
What? How does that work?
Singer put out a sewing machine specifically for cosplay and cosplay build and cosplay making.
Right.
So
I'm just
it's
wondering
all dressed up and pretty. I can probably lean over and grab it. It's just sitting over there. But it's a special. If you actually type into Google Singer cosplay sewing machine, you'll see it.
Hang on. I have a computer sitting behind this
he
screen.
Wants to do it.
Look now. Hang on. Don't try this at home, kids. Hang on. Singer cosplay. I'll even learn to spell machine. Hang on. Need an image. Images. Oh my god. That is cool.
Now, it's normally retails around $700, but you can quite often get it on the 50% off sale, which I did.
Yep.
And it comes with every attachment.
Oh my god.
So walking feet and everything. It comes with every single thing you'll ever need for a sewing machine.
I have just found one on Amazon.com. There it is. And
now,
for those playing at home, it's currently unavailable. Sorry.
Yeah. But
none for you.
It is also a heavy duty sewing machine, so it's an industrial grade. So it's so leather and everything like that.
Thus the reason good for cosplay.
Yes. Wow. So they put out pretty much an industrial grade sewing machine specifically for people like us that beat the living hell out of them. But
and apparently comes with I'm reading here. I'm not this good at this. Comes with an extension table for your large and heavy cosplay projects.
Yes, it does.
There you go. And I know, and Singer Sewing Company have just said it's been sold through our online store and through Singer retailers. There we go.
So if there's
any product placement, then cool.
Yeah, you can get it at Spotlight. God. So.
Oh, okay.
But cool, fantastic thing that cosplay is starting to get to such a point now that it's joining the mainstream.
I was about to say it's commercially viable for a large company like Singer to go, hey, here's something for my people. There you go.
Yeah, and so cool. I first saw it at Supernova at Gold Coast this year.
Yeah,
and I looked and I went, that says cosplay on it. Why does that say cosplay on it?
Does it mean something else in
Does it teach me how to make cosplay? So, yeah. But I mean, that would be ideal as a full range course, doing your hair, doing your makeup, doing your dressmaking, doing your foam work. And crafting, doing your pattern making, and all that.
Cool.
So I mean, there is a significant amount of stuff you have to know when making cosplay, even just foam work. It's not just get a Stanley knife out, cut some foam, and glue it together. So you've got patterning, you've got sizing, you've got all these different variations, and a lot of people rely on other people to give them the right size patterns and plans. It's kind of like if you 3D print something. Say, for instance, you 3D print an Iron Man suit. 300 odd hours or 1,000 hours of printing later, you got yourself an Iron Man suit, but does it fit?
Yeah, don't you? Or did you get your measurements in metric and not imperial and go, damn it, why is the arm only this big? Yeah.
But that's been always the bane. And, there are programs now available, like, for instance, Armour Smith Designer, done by Randy Kavanagh over in the US. And which allow you to have a mannequin on the screen, which you put all your own personal measurements into, and then drag and drop the parts on there. Be them 3D printing STL files, or be them Pepakura pattern files, or like paper folding files.
So that way you can virtually do it, and you can know with certainty then by pushing the button, you can go, oh, damn, that's 80 hours I've just lost, or you can, do it properly. That's cool.
Exactly. And so you can also resize the part entirely. So not just uniform, but you do non-uniform adjustments and things like that to the part, and then obviously send it off to pattern or dump it back out as a printable file.
That's cool.
And so it's an amazing piece of software. But in that sense, all of these tools are starting to come together where having the ability to have a course, even if it's extracurricular, a course for this sort of stuff.
Oh, there'll be people who, I think it'll actually be an attractant for kids who go, I want to do it, but I can't see how I'd actually get into this. And they'll actually look at it and have a practical application for it they may not have necessarily looked at before. So, and dare I say as well, for people doing like your fashion and those sort of things, there's no other delicate way to say this. It's going to be probably a very female orientated if they think it's just about making dresses and doing stuff. If you say it's actually cosplay and you get to do bang, 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 bang.
Make your own Batman costume. Hello.
There you go. Yeah. just not the Clooney one, because like,
no, we're not going down that road.
That's something Clooney should have said too. I'm not going down that road.
Yes, yeah. But no, I think it would be fantastic to see something like that evolve, especially in a school. And honestly, I think your school's the one that's striving above and beyond all others anywhere I've seen.
So we might and like I said, we're talking about when we're talking about the other stuff before about the drive-in stuff. I mean, that was a 3.5 hour thing going from we can do this to this to this. I've actually been, I can show you. I actually have written down on a post-it note sitting next to me now. I have hop skip vendors written on there already. I have the dates so I never forget it, and I have singer sewing cosplay written on the bottom there. So I actually have 2 hospitality teachers who actually have expertise in your sewing and bits and pieces. Mm-hmm. One of whom has done all the costuming for every musical we've ever done here for like 30 years. But the other one is massive geek. So maybe if I actually turn around and issue and just say, hey, here's an idea, maybe twist your fashion one very slightly into that direction.
Well,
and
I mean,
by the way, here's a budget. Go and buy some new sewing machines.
Yeah, go and buy some new sewing machines, and on top of that, Spotlight has patterns for cosplay costumes.
Yeah. So
they've got the patterns available. You can buy them.
Oh, see, that's going on the post-it note right there.
I know, because I've got about 20 or 30 patterns upstairs for different costumes and capes and cloaks and things like that, and bodysuits and.
Nah, I'm writing that cosplay Spotlight. Cool, done. The thing is, though, I'll probably get in tomorrow morning and go, "What is set cosplay spot? What was? Oh, hang on, was that? Was I drinking? What was that? Yeah. Anyway." No, that's cool. All right, no, that'll be very handy actually. Yeah. So watch this space for FraserPOP 2021. It might be subjects and courses in cosplay coming up. That'd be cool.
I think it'd be really, really good.
Yeah. No, awesome. Thanks for the tip. Another scoop.
Not a problem. So have you got anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, it's been a real pleasure and a privilege actually to have a chat to you for a while. It's always I like picking your brain with these sorts of things. It's always good. Like I said, I've got a full post-it note worth of coming. From there's about 2 departments, so there'll be a hospitality and a home ec department going, who are you talking to? And unfortunately, about 4 doors down that way is my business manager will be going, okay. She just takes a deep breath when she looks at me and goes, well, what are we buying now?
Yeah, what next?
What next? Well, because she walked in today, actually, I went and had a chat today and said, okay, here's my next idea. Drive in. And she went, what for? And I went, my best went through, and she went, okay, I've got to give you that one. That one is pretty brilliant. But, and so I actually worked out how to pay for it, and then she went, oh, dear God. So, yeah, poor old Catherine's kind of used to me now, but she's awesome.
Well, I can see an entire room of singer cosplay sewing machines.
Yeah. If there's next time, actually, all joking aside, just because of the industrial nature of them, they would actually lend themselves quite well to a school.
Oh, well and truly.
So it'll be curious, and you can imagine the whole room. They're pretty cool looking. So, Terry has left the building. Or Terry's picking up a sewing machine.
Terry's dropped half of the sewing machine.
Hey, there it is. That's
So
the photo I've got.
there it is.
Hang on, look. See, there you go. See? There's a photo I got. Here's one we prepared earlier. There you go. That is so cool. Yeah.
So I dropped half of the sewing machine, so hopefully it's industrial enough to be able to handle that.
Yeah. Where is it? Done.
It's about there.
Yeah.
So I'm actually I'm gonna do a wee little plug because your brother runs Bruce Vegas Comics in Brisbane.
He does indeed. Brand new store, brand new shop. I haven't been down there yet because I'm not allowed.
I did.
And that was
I was there the other day.
And that was before Corona. I'm just not allowed. Yeah.
There's too many nice things down there.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of photos and stuff and bits and pieces, like the big cinema wall and stuff, and a couple other things. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah, it's definitely taking shape really well. And in about probably 2 or 3 months, we're going to start doing cosplay courses there.
Cool, because I noticed you've given him a nice present for the wall. I've seen up there. I did see the.
Yeah, he's got a little chainsaw hanging up there at the moment, and
I saw that. Little.
I know it's just little, but
just a small.
I'm also taking the Marine from Guardsman down to set up down there as well.
Oh, cool! Yeah, that'll fill a wall.
That'll fill a wall. So, but no, the main thing is that there are 6 of us that are going to be doing these cosplay courses. And it'll be over a weekend. There will be a charge for it, obviously. It's not going to be free. But we're covering everything: foam work, makeup and hair, dressmaking, prop making, all that sort of stuff. So they'll all be practical courses, not theoretical. So
I'm wondering then, and this is my brain ticking again, I'm just thinking maybe FraserPOP 2021, because of the nature of where all that home ec hospitality stuff is, which is at the very front of the school, and this is of course after I buy my 24 cosplay singer sewing machines, that might be something that maybe for FraserPOP we can look at and book people in, and they can pay stuff and do it up here too. That'd be cool.
Most definitely. So we should have all the bugs worked out by then.
Yeah. We got a year.
We got a year. We're good.
We're fine.
All right. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today and run through the bits and pieces. And
no, you're most welcome. Absolute pleasure, Terry. And I now have a video documented thing of saying I'll see you in September. True.
I will see you in September. So, all right. So, guys, thanks for coming and thanks for joining us on this interview. And we're just going to wrap it up now. So we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Cheers. Thanks, guys.